Alright, Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites. We come out week in and week out, prophesy the downfall of America. We want to give all praises
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom, salute to all the Akim on the highways, you know. Yeah, if y'all want to get into Jeremiah 10. Yeah, because Christmas, that evil pagan day Christmas just happened, and last week we didn't get a chance to speak on it. But you know, you had a bunch of Edomites and all the heathen and 2/3 of our people, you know, taking their children to go see Santa Claus, which when you take the word Santa and you rearrange the letters, you get Satan, you know. And then to top it off, you got him sitting on a damn cracker's lap. Some real homo shit, you know.
Santa's even effeminate.
Yep.
The feminine.
Kind with the A on the end, yep. Yep. You know, so you got your children sitting on this fat cracker's lap.
This faggot.
You know. Would you let your children sit on another man's lap any other time? But it's okay this one time a year, right? He got a damn heart on and shit, and your son talking about what you want.
Okay. And they were talking about how all of these little children, in all of their pictures that they take with Santa Claus, they're always crying or seeing crying like a motherfucker. Like they don't want to be on this fat, white, leprous motherfucker's lap.
Cause that shit ain't normal.
This is Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the sign of heaven, for the heathens are dismayed at them. Oh, keep reading? Well, I got a precept to back that up, which is Deuteronomy 4:19.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to worship the stars or the moon. Anything that the Lord made is not supposed to be for worship. It's supposed to be just to marvel and to see how wonderful the creations of the Lord are. But you're supposed to worship the Creator rather than the creature. You know?
This is Deuteronomy 4:19. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy power hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of an inheritance as you are this day. So basically, you know, the Lord is saying not to worship the stars of the heaven, or all of the different things that are in the heaven, the sun or the moon.
Real quick, I want to say, because me and the brother, we run around looking at all these symbols. Now, these symbols they're worshiping the stars and the moon, but they're not pictures of the stars and the moon. They're like Pisces, they're Gemini, they're, you know, Aquarius, all that stuff. You got to keep that in mind. Christmas, okay?
We went over to this building,
Easter,
over around the corner from where we're teaching at right now, and on this building, they had the 12 zodiac signs, basically at the top on this little arch. So basically the arch looks like a little gate, and people have to walk through it. So they're basically walking under it and into this building, which is kind of like a form of worship.
yeah.
But those zodiac signs represents a planet. Each one of them represents a planet.
When they had literal gateways you walking through in these buildings, you know what I mean?
Alright, this is from a book called The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop. If I have enough time between doing other videos, I'll put this in production. This is page 89, and it reads, here we go. Now the great God, cut off in the midst of his power and glory, was symbolized as a huge tree, stripped of all its branches and cut down almost to the ground.
Precept after that.
You want to go ahead right now?
Yeah, go get it, bro. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not come out of the good things that are seen, knowing Him that is.
So, because the ox said that basically the reason that these things were created, they were not created for you to worship them, but for you to behold the majesty and the power of Yahweh.
Even like, I just want to say something real quick, even like what the brother was saying here, they always come up with an excuse like, oh, we got the Christmas tree because it represents this. Okay, it always represents something. You're not supposed to have nothing on this earth representing nothing like that, you know what I mean? It says, are of the good things that are seen, know Him, that is neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster, but deemed either fire or wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven, to be with gods which govern the world, with whose beauty, if they didn't be delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For first author of beauty hath created them.
Right, so I'll elaborate on it. So basically what the scripture is saying is that why would you worship a thing when you know something created the thing? You know? You can't worship everything that's created has an author. Every book that's written has an author. Why would you worship the pages on the book without giving credit to the author who wrote the book, you know? The Most High wrote everything. He put everything into existence. So why give credit to something that He made?
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah, what they say, every time they want to worship something, what do? They end up making an image. They always got to make an image. Man always makes an image. It's just, man cannot find it in his heart just to worship a creator that he cannot see. So he has to make something that man can put in his hand and physically look at. Right. This is what it is, see? Being a Hebrew Israelite, we're not supposed to do that. You know, even our king, like we're not supposed to pledge allegiance to this country. We have pledged allegiance to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man.
That's right.
You know?
If we require some of us, we give them to it, because those things is things of the world. But, you know, like you said.
And then if you're a man of the Lord, and I know this from personal experience, whenever I, throughout my life, whenever I've gone into, I've gone into a Buddhist temple before, or I go into churches that have these idols set up, man, it gives me a creepy feeling. I don't feel right, you know. So you see these ancient idols that they used to put up, man. They used to be decked out, full of gold and silver and everything. And they used to be tall, statues of Zeus and Jupiter and Venus and Aphrodite and all that. And they used to be, and the bull, Molech. You look at these things, if you're a man of the Lord, you're gonna shrink from that, because it ain't in your spirit to worship idols. You know an idol when you see one, even if you're not in this truth. You know an idol, because it don't feel right.
But what's funny though is like when me and Shakam, when we were walking around, me and the brother was walking around, when we would go by these old banks, these old Jews would cover their banks with idols, man. These so-called Jews, okay, including swastikas, which go back to Hinduism. You know what I mean? That was way before the Hitler started using that symbol.
There's a place over here called the Guardian Building, all right, and it was a well-known bank because Detroit was a center of commerce. A lot of people were bringing their establishments here. You had the big three here, so it was basically booming around a certain time. So a lot of people will come here and bring their money to that place because it's a big vault at the bottom of it. That's the reason why it gets the name the Guardian Building. But on the outside of the building, they have two Native American Indians on each side, basically representing guarding the building. Now that represents the spirit of the Native Americans, whom they slaughter and they kill, which they thinking that their idols, by them putting it on their building, will prevent those evil spirits or prevent evil or wickedness.
A lot of these buildings have
and on the inside they had a woman that looked like an angel, and in two of her arms she had two baskets of fruit, and she was floating on top of like the Michigan map, representing commerce.
We're talking about how there's Indians garden. There's Indians garden. Gad is all over this city garden. And the brother right here was telling me they found a building. It was what building was it at?
The first what is that?
The first
Freemason.
Masonic
temple.
temple.
Yep.
And they had bones in them walls, and you know the Masonic temples, them Masons, they like to put them bones of Gad in the walls and stuff like that. Just like they said they had Geronimo's skull, skull and bones at Yale University. They like to keep them,
because they think
bones of Gad.
Their bones and stuff, they think, and they're into magic. So they think that magic is going to prevent any evil from coming upon them, and also to bring them wealth. That's the reason why you got these people in the Illuminati that slay down people every now and then, or in order to get into the Illuminati, you have to take an oath and have somebody sacrifice. Can I read them?
Go ahead.
All right, this is verse 4. It says, "But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. For by greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen. But yet for this they are the less to be blamed. For they peradventure err seeking God, and desirous to find him. For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently and believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. Howbeit, neither are they to be pardoned. For if they were able to know so much, they that could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof?" So basically, if you're so wise in knowing things, and you behold these things and you see how glorious they are, and you're looking at them, searching for God or searching for the power within them, how much so soon did you not figure out that it was the Lord that actually made these things, and they couldn't have came about on their own?
Okay, go ahead and get the law, and then we'll go back to the book. Exodus chapter 20, verse, you want to start at 1 of this? Okay, Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. It says, and the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. See, and that's plain. But then you get the heathen that have to make these images because they never got that. They never got that memo right there in Exodus 20. So they got to make their own gods, and then you got our dumbass people running to follow to be like them because they're not under the curses you under as Israelites. So then you go ahead and you teach your children how to worship idols.
Because they want to see shit with their eyes, man.
Right.
They want to be carnal. See stuff with their eyes. Hey, this brother had a question here. He wanted to know about the garment. Ask him about the garment, man.
What's the significance of the garment? What's
when
the?
Does he need it?
Yeah, and why do I like? When should I be wearing it?
Okay, hold on. We'll get to that. Get your precept. Go back to your call, and then after that, we'll line up the scriptures.
This is Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
There you go. All right, going back to what you got. You got more.
Because it basically says, the I just said that he never gave the other nations his law, statutes, and commandments. So he didn't divide into those people wisdom enough to know that these are not gods, that these are just things that were created by my power and my might.
This is Exodus 20 and 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right, so you can't bow down to those other idols that we see, because the Christmas tree is an idol. Molech, and because what you're doing, you're bringing up the spirits of those other deities like Molech, which is a baby killer, which is Nimrod, and you worship it because he said have no other God before me. So you put that above the Most High,
Most High He's not gonna put you in the order that you're supposed to be in. That's why we in this condition that we in now.
And where they always put that star rock on that tree?
Right at the top.
Right at the top. 5-pointed star.
In which that star represents, and it's always a woman angel at the top of it. That represents Semiramis or Astaroth. You know, the fertility goddess.
Right. This is Leviticus 18:3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do after the doings of the land of Canaan. Whether I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Don't follow us while we're in the land. This is Egypt. This is spiritual Egypt. While we in this land, we doing our people, the 2/3, and we was doing this stuff. You know what I mean? It says do not do that because you are Hebrew Israelites. You're not Canaanites. You know, you're not the heathen. You're God's chosen people. You know, so we in there. We following the way of the heathen, which has brought us out of the power that we have. The true spiritual power, but it was already set up in that fashion because he only wanted a certain amount of people to get it. You know, he wanted only his elect to get it. You know? That's right. One more bar. This is Leviticus 20:23. And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. So the Most High said all the things that he told us not to do, and we did, and we, as we went to those lands, like become Greeks, you know, worshiping the Greek way, wearing togas, cutting your head bald, you know, and getting beards, not beards, cutting your beard off, you know, because that's the manly badge of dignity, man.
Being fat.
Right, because you grew a beard for what reason? It comes for what reason? Not because you command it to grow or not command it to grow. It's because the Most High put it on you to have it grow because it shows that you are a man. It's a manly badge of dignity.
And what you saying when you cut off your beard, you're basically saying, fuck the Most High.
Right.
Because he the one that designed that on your face. So why would you take away what he created, you know? And like speaking on what the brother said, see, that's why we're supposed to be separate from the heathen. Anytime in the Old Testament, when the Most High told us to go into a place, he said, don't make no covenant with them, don't marry their women, kill them off, be done with them. But now we in America next to every damn body. It's total confusion, you know? It's total confusion. It's not the way of the Lord. You got another one real quick? Okay, go ahead, you go.
This is back to the Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop, page 89. It says, the Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, that tree was the palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir tree. In Rome, it was the fir, the palm tree, denoting the pagan Messiah, as Baal Tamar, the fir referring to him as Baal Berith.
God
of the community.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got these niggas that's talking about, man, what you gonna do for the community in the hood?
Right.
Fuck all that. That's worshiping the idol. That's worshiping the devil. Right. Baal Berith.
And normally around Christmas time, that's when everybody want to be friendly.
Yeah.
That's when everybody want to come together as a community and be happy, give each other gifts.
You got the Salvation Army, man, ringing that damn bell. You know, man, fuck the community.
Cops ain't out there shooting you down. They're in there trying to, get you some money. Got
Right. You had a cop that actually was pulling over people, asking them what do they want, then calling in. I think it was maybe Walmart. Calling in Walmart, and people would say, "Oh, I want clothes," or "I want a TV." So he'll call it in, and then they'll rush it out to him. And that's just the most stupidest shit ever.
Then you got the niggas that sell drugs in the community all year long. Yo auntie, yo grandma, all fucked up off that narcotic, off that heroin and that crack. But then the one day of the year, the motherfucker feel generous and he want to give you a turkey and shit. You motherfuckers go crazy.
A ham,
right?
A ham.
You go crazy,
Hard.
That's unbelievable. Like Nino Brown.
And the brother spoke on the turkey and the ham. They had a Ebola. Ebola hit a whole bunch of goddamn turkeys, man. And you already know it's bad. Ham is already bad for you, so shit. Right. You eat some damn Ebola turkey.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is page 90 now. The Christmas tree, I'm gonna skip around. The Christmas tree, as has been stated, was generally at Rome a different tree, even the fir, but the very same idea as was implied in the palm tree was implied in the Christmas fir, for that covertly symbolized the newborn God as Baal Berith. Skipping down, it says, therefore the 25th of December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth, was held at the Natalis Invictus Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun. Now, the Yule log is the dead stock of Nimrod, defiled as the sun god, but cut down by his enemies, because there's a story about Nimrod being chopped up pieces and spread all around. You know, those Yule logs, you know, you chop those Yule logs up and put them in your fireplace, you light them on fire.
That's kind of like the Yule log of I think in the worship of Saturn. It's a Saturnalia, but the Yule log was to burn the children. The way you say children is Yule, and I think in one of the Celtic word languages. So Nimrod was known as the baby killer. So it fits real tight with that because he was the one that killed the baby. So basically, if you put the children in the fire, which those goddamn Hamites did. You know, and Gehenna, they will have their children pass through the fire. That's a good connection with Nimrod.
But cut down by his enemies, the Christmas tree is Nimrod, Rendivius, the slain god, come to life again in the light reflected by the above statement on customs that still linger among the origin, which has been lost in the midst of hoar antiquity. Let the reader look at the singular practice still kept up in the South on Christmas Eve of kissing under the mistletoe. Well, it should be mistletoe.
Yeah. And the mistletoe was like, and the mistletoe was also like, it was red and white. White was representative of the man's semen, and red was for the woman's menstrual cycle.
Yeah. It's a sign of fertility also. It goes back to the Druids, the sign of fertility, and it is also used in what they call enchantments. Yeah.
I'm almost done.
Yeah, and why do you think that? Why do you think people kiss under the mistletoe? You know, because it is a sign of fertility. That's another custom that people keep is kissing under the mistletoe. Where do you think that comes from?
That go into orgies and
that leads to it, yeah.
That
you start with the kiss.
That eggnog, baby. Eggnog. Got the little tips.
All right, the mistletoe bow in the Druidic superstition, which, as we have seen, was derived from Babylon. And that's it on that.
See, so you know, the police have a saying, right? Ignorance is no excuse to the law. So just because you don't know, you're still guilty if you break the law. So you breaking the Most High's laws by observing these days when it's clearly have pagan origins. Now it doesn't matter. Now everybody love to say, well, that's not what it means to me. It don't matter. You know, if somebody came in your house, slaughtered your whole family, raped your wife, you know, raped your children, killed them all, killed the dog, and then, 100 years later, they celebrate that day and they call it
Thanksgiving.
They call it Thanksgiving, and you say, "Well, I don't celebrate it for that. I just use it as a time to get together." You still putting that in memory. You're making a memorial out of that day, and the people who want to know about that day look into it,
Because you're in
and they see
unison with a whole bunch of people too.
Right.
You in spirit with a whole bunch of spirits, man.
That's right.
Yeah, y'all singing the same song. You know, the same old song.
All right, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah, verse 10 verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. Hey, can you grab that tree right there? Get it on camera. 'Cause they got the gold lights on it.
Yellow.
Yep.
There ain't too many palm trees in the forest.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you get a tree and you put gold and silver on it. Now you motherfuckers put them cheap ass ornaments on there. can't afford gold and silver. You know, so you get them dollar store joints.
We used to have them bubbling lights when you was a kid, all that trick shit.
Back in, I remember watching Martin. This motherfucker couldn't afford a tree. He got a Velcro tree and some Velcro ornaments. Was throwing them just on the back of the. He put it on the back of the door.
Yeah. That's the kind of tree your grandma and grandpa always have had.
Right.
That spirit, that tree was like it was Nimrod's mother, which was his wife. And the spirit, she told him, against Nimrod died at that time, and she said to them, if you don't worship this spirit, Nimrod's spirit is in this tree, and if you don't worship him, the spirit of Nimrod is going to basically come in and get you. Yeah. So if you didn't, those big ornaments and bulbs were people's heads that they was putting on those trees. Go to seven, but she wanted gifts, and his own mother was his wife, so you know how heathenistic them bastards.
And then you give the gift as a peace offering. You know, because you don't want that to happen to you.
Right, there you go.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
Right.
They are upright as palm tree, as the palm tree, but speak not. They must need be born because they cannot go.
Yeah, that means they have to be carried. Born means to be carried. It's Old English. So you have to carry that bitch, put it on the back of your goddamn car, string it up. You know, if the tree really had power, the tree would walk to your house. You know?
And that's beautiful when a tree catches on fire and it burns up the whole damn living room, or sometimes the whole house.
You know what's fucked up though? See, as an adult, you can say, oh, it's just a tree, but you don't understand. As little children, you mesmerized by that shit, man. Yeah. So you sitting in there, so all through your life, from a little kid, you're being mesmerized and programmed by a tree. Yeah, when you get to be an adult, you can say such and such. But you must be programmed because you still putting the motherfucker up, man.
That goes
so whatever you learned as a kid, you still practicing as an adult. So why you gonna give us that bullshit that I don't mean nothing, when if it didn't mean nothing, you clearly putting the motherfucker up, man.
And that goes back into magic, or hypnotism, or mind control.
And I'll say this here, that what the brother just said was correct. Because tell your woman, I challenge you, tell your woman, do not put up a Christmas tree and see what kind of fight back you're going to get. And what she's going to say is, I've done it all my life.
Well, I don't
it's all I know. It's tradition.
Our tradition.
Yeah, I don't want to deprive my kids of the same childhood that I had.
Right. See, so like he said, you know, when you're an adult, you can say, yeah, this is wrong. But most of you can't even do that because you have to wipe out years of good memories for you. And that's more important than the Most High. Go ahead, man.
This is Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of Yahweh's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
And that's when you go into the Catholic Church and you see them do the sign of the cross. That's the T for Tammuz. They even say it. You have hot cross buns, the double cross, the Exxon Mobil, the two crosses.
That church cross.
Yep, the church cross. That's all Tammuz. And they say the Latin. They used to say the Latin prayer in the Roman Catholic Church. I don't know if they still do.
Still do.
But especially in the Vatican, they say the Roman prayer and they say Tamus in it. I don't know Latin that well, but I know Tammuz when I hear it.
I got that. This is we're speaking on Nimrod and babies and things. This is in the Apocrypha. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 3. It says, "And it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's flesh, and the feast of blood." Right. That's what we read on about the Canaan. It said, "Do not." When we read in Leviticus 18:3 about don't go when you go in the land, don't do it of Egypt, or don't do anything what the nations do, the Canaanites and everything. What they was doing, we spoke about it before about Gehenna. They murdered their children for Nimrod, which you celebrate at this point in time. So, and he was known as the baby killer, or Merodach. You know, and that's another god that got Merodach. Yeah. So it's this is Egypt. Egypt just has a spirit of hangs over it, man. That's all it has. This America is just a big filth pot. You know, that's why it has to be destroyed off the face of the earth. That's the only way it has to be destroyed, because it can't be brought up. Because if you think, okay, oh, why this gonna stop? The Most High still got more land that's gonna come up when those missiles hit. But right now, you think this is small because it's gonna be broken apart. But this is a big, thick spirit that everybody in this festive mood at this time are festive, but they don't. A lot of them don't understand, and a lot of them do understand.